Hi, viewers, and welcome to the latest episode of The Huddle. I'm Las Vegas correspondent Brian Joseph, and I'm here today with Noah Bernstein, the founder and CEO of the sports gaming app Locker. Noah, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, of course. I'm glad to be here.
I wanted to start by asking, what's your background, and how did the journey you were on eventually bring you to founding the Locker?
Yeah, so I was really into entrepreneurship as early as high school. And I was kind of like a physics engineering kid. So I was working at Boeing in high school, helping them out with some engineering stuff. And then went to UC Berkeley, studied electrical engineering, computer science. And I was randomly assigned my freshman year roommate, who's my co-founder, Hugh Roberts. And I remember getting to college, meeting him, asking him, what are you interested? What do you want to do with your life? He was like, I want to be an entrepreneur. And so we kind of leveraged that shared interest in entrepreneurship to really get our hands in a couple of projects as undergraduates. So the first one was when we were sophomores, we ran a sales team for a digital media startup. We got it up to about 20, 25 people under us, which was really the first hands-on experience that I had as an entrepreneur. And then, moving about a year forward, our lead investor actually for Locker right now, Hatchery Investments, approached me as a junior in college, and they had a product that they wanted made. So they gave us a $50,000 to $100,000 budget to make an MVP for them. It was a really cool experience. I got to work with, just some really seasoned professionals, like one of the vice presidents of Apple during that project. And we kind of parted ways at the end of that. So I spent my senior year really refining what I wanted to do after college, what project I wanted to put my time into. And I think what was important to me was choosing a project in an industry that I thoroughly enjoyed. And then additionally, I wanted to be the target demographic of the product I was making. And I think, I was in a frat in college, so NFL Sundays were like a religious holiday for us. It was all the guys getting together, watching the games. And I think my favorite part of watching those NFL games was that when my buddy, who was a Rams fan, would watch Cooper Kupp drop a pass, and me and my friends being able to kind of give him shit for it. I think I wanted to really focus on digitizing that experience of watching an NFL game with your friends. But from there, we completed our seed round before graduating. And it was a pretty funny story, actually. We didn't have enough money to be paying ourselves and, go get rent and kind of work with each other. And so our lead investor actually plopped us in an airplane hangar in Napa Valley for the first couple months after graduating college. So we kind of treated it like an incubator and lived and worked out of there in isolation for a couple months just to get this thing off the ground.
That's an amazing story. So is this really your first sort of enterprise out of college?
Yeah, first one out of college. There was a couple other projects that we worked on that got a little bit of funding in it, but now we're up to 15, 20 employees working on the project. And it's, we're really starting to feel the momentum kind of come behind us and push us forward.
That's really cool. I did a fellowship at Berkeley years ago for mid-career journalists, and I was always impressed by the caliber of students there, and you clearly fit that mold.
I know. Yeah. Well, Cal's got a really good entrepreneurship program. And let me tell you, you're just in class and, somebody you're sitting next to is working on a project themselves. So it's a good environment to be in.
Yeah, I miss those days on campus. I enjoyed feeling like the least smart person in the room. It was fun. There's so many intelligent people there.
Yeah.
So sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. So tell us about Locker and how it stands out from the competition in this increasingly crowded sports gaming environment. Explain the app, explain what it does, and sort of how you're different.
Yeah, so I think a lot of companies in the space are focused on really taking that analog process of placing a bet at a casino and digitizing that. And I think that the major players in the industry, both daily fantasy sports and sports gambling, have done a phenomenal job of growing that online market and bringing it to where it is. For us, we're really focused on the engagement of watching a game, more so than the experience of placing a bet. And so for us, being a second screen social platform that's driving viewership of the games from the younger demographic, I think that's the real differentiating factor, is that we're targeting engagement of the games and trying to make a better experience when enjoying the football games that we all love. So we see an opportunity to really build on that momentum that the major players in the industry have already set up and create something that's truly innovative. And that's something that we believe has really a mass market appeal. So I think one of the major issues in the industry that we saw on a lot of these products was a really steep barrier to entry. A lot of them have a ton of options, a ton of features to use. And I think sometimes it's overwhelming for the casual fan, casual consumer to hop on one of these platforms. You feel like you're kind of looking at the stock market. And so for us, we wanted to make a really curated, tailored experience, really easy calls to action. And again, just honing in on the engagement of the audience, for watching these games. And additionally, I think, we're making an easy and low risk way to make some money while just enjoying the football games that we all love.
So tell us though, so you have sort of a drive by drive approach to placing bets. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so I think for me, when I'm placing a bet, for a game, I'll place the bet and I'll go play golf, you know what I mean, and come home and see if my bet hit. And for us, we really wanted to be engaged on each play that's happening specifically throughout the game. And so what we wanted to do is treat our users, put them in the role of that offensive coordinator or the coach, and really give, I like to call them the couch coaches of the world, the ability to really call plays and interact with the game in real time. So I think for us, it's having the ability to kind of call plays, in between each drive and each possession gives you the ability to be engaged each possession of the game. Whether it's your favorite team is playing or whether you're not really familiar with the two rosters, there's something there, something captivating you and keeping you engaged while you're enjoying the game.
So are you literally like, the Packers go on offense and you're saying, first down, they're going to pass? Is that what you're betting on? Or give us the specifics of how it works.
Yeah, so if it was Packers Cowboys and the Cowboys just scored a touchdown, there'd typically be like a 2-minute commercial break. And so during that break, we'll ask you a question like, who's going to have most offensive yards during the next possession, A.J. Dillon or Christian Kirk? And basically, there's a live chat going on. So we're kind of building a community of these NFL fans and everybody's recurring. It's really awesome to see now that we have the product out. It's really a community of people. These guys don't know each other. They're all under, alias usernames, but they're like interacting with each other, kind of talking smack back and forth about their picks. And it's just a really engaging experience. And what we found is that we've been running games for actually the first half of a lot of these football games. A lot of people will play our game for the first half and then kind of be bored for the second half of the game and kind of stop playing. But I think, it's all on our journey to really just optimize that watching experience and give fans some more engagement to interact with the games that they love.
So is it just one question per drive, or are there multiple questions? What are the options when when the Packers go on offense? What happens?
Yeah, so it's one question per drive right now. I think we're still, we're focused on improving the product continually and releasing some new features and trying them out with people. But right now, it's one question that comes out for each drive. And I think I like to see the questions that we're asking as kind of plays more so, right? And for us, we have a really extensive sheet, and we call it like the play sheet for us. And we see our software as kind of the game master of what's happening. And so what we want to do is release questions or plays that really accompany that live game context, right? So if we're looking at just a standard live bettor who's watching the Bengals and he sees Jamar Chase is getting double teamed the whole game, right? He's going to go lock in like a T. Higgins targets, some bet on that. And we're really taking that idea and kind of inverting it, if that makes sense. So we're kind of curating the experience and trying to make it as enjoyable and as interesting as possible by presenting questions in the correct flow, right? So again, it goes back to putting our users in that role of the offensive coordinator or the head coach. And we want them to feel like they're analyzing the context of the game and kind of calling the plays from the sideline.
Sign me up, man. That sounds really cool. I'm a huge football fan. Obviously the questions are you don't have like a coder that's posing the questions live. The software is doing it. How does I assume, is that a proprietary logarithm that you've developed? How does that work?
Yeah, so we're patent pending right now. But again, we like to see our software as the game master. So it's taking in the context of the game and seeing, what statistics you can kind of use the previous parts of the game as kind of an edge or, to predict what's going to happen. And I think, it all goes back to being a tailored, curating experience. And we're definitely starting to experiment with a lot of cutting edge AI and trying to take our user experience to the next level. But it's all about improving the customer experience and just trying to get NFL fans to continue to enjoy the games they love.
That sounds really cool. I like the. I've always thought, living in Vegas and being at the home of the Raiders, that I wanted to, when I was at the stadium, be able to bet on the next play, and that's kind of what you're talking about. Is what's the next play going to be? Now, is your product legal in every state, or is it only legal in states where sports gaming is legal?
So right now, at the moment, we are actually just giving out free money in the form of free-to-play pools on our platform. So at the moment, it doesn't constitute either one of those.
I see.
We will be introducing pay-to-play games with higher jackpots and more confined slots. And it's kind of similar to what you see in a traditional DFS product in terms of a peer-to-peer pool. So we will be officially defined as a DFS operator. But we will only be operating in states where we're confident that our peer-to-peer pools are classified as games of skill, and make sure that we abide by the laws of said states when we do release our pay-to-play pools.
It's complicated stuff, man, and you really gotta be on top of all the changes that happen at the legislative level.
I know there's definitely a lot of movement in the industry for sure.
So obviously, your product right now is focused on football, American football, specifically the NFL. Do you have plans eventually to expand beyond that to maybe other pro sports or even college sports?
Yeah, so we're right now in the process of incubating an NBA and an MLB product, and they will be available in 2024. But at the moment, we're heads down focused on continually iterating and improving our NFL product. And I think as a young entrepreneur, it's something really that I've learned is that you're never going to look at your product and be like, it's perfect, it's done. You know what I mean? We have, just a blue ocean of features we want to throw in and additions just to really improve that watch experience of the live games. And so I think as a young entrepreneur, it's something that you kind of got to figure out is really prioritizing, new products with improving current products. But at the moment, we're getting ready to launch our NBA, MLB products in 2024 and continually iterating and improving on our current NFL one.
Tell me why you decided to go. Obviously, pro sports is extremely popular, and the NFL is extremely popular. But you're a recent college graduate. You know how insane college football fans are. Why not focus on college football first rather than the NFL? Was there a strategic decision there?
Yeah, I think I think with a college team, it's really confined in terms of the community. It's really limited to alumni and students there, and we wanted to make a platform where if you're at home watching these games alone, like join Locker, be a part of the community, and watch the game with your friends, and really just focused on digitizing that. And we saw the NFL as just the best way to kind of open up that segment and allow people to really communicate with each other, socialize with each other, and engage in the games.
That makes sense. Now, as we referenced earlier in our conversation, there is a lot going on in the sports betting world. You talked about daily fantasy, traditional sports books, the new flavors, organizations like yourself. Where do you see all this heading? Do you put on your Nostradamus hat a little bit? Where do you see sports gaming in the United States going? Maybe even just the next 5 years, because I know things are changing pretty rapidly.
I think that the focus is going to be on digital fan experiences as a whole. And I think that, the gaming space at large has been developing at pretty much warp speed. But, in the grand scheme, I feel like we're only reaching a small percentage of potential users. And with Locker, our vision and goal is to make a product that just truly has universal appeal. So I like to see ourselves as somewhere in between sports betting and daily fantasy sports 2.0. And it's the type of thing, whether you're, again, a couch coach, whether you're competing alongside your buddies, or, whether you think you're sharp and you want to get into the nitty gritty of the numbers, we're confident that our contests have wide appeal, and it's just a great way to make the watching experience of NFL games more fun and engaging.
That makes a lot of sense. Now, you obviously have spent a long time analyzing the sports gaming world. Who do you think does sports gaming right? I mean, is there a particular app or operator, whether it's in the US or elsewhere, that you admire?
Yeah, so I think, again, the major players in the space have done just an outstanding job of really opening up that online market and innovating and pushing it to where it is today. And if it weren't for the FanDuel and DraftKings of the world, that online market just wouldn't exist. So I think I speak on behalf of me and my co-founder, we do admire everything that these companies have done to help and grow the watch experience of, NFL games and open up that online market.
How long until you're with the big boys?
Sometime soon. I think we're definitely making some moves on the back end and growing some momentum. But I think a year or two, we'll have some really awesome, features and products behind Locker as a company.
Is there anything in particular you want to share with our viewers to close that you're excited about, or that that they should be looking out for in the next, I don't know, 6 months or so?
Yeah, I would say get ready for playoffs to come out. We're going to be running, much higher stake jackpots and opening up some really cool features to the public. So make sure to get on the app and get accustomed. Everybody has a specific way that they play and strategy that they play the game with. So get on the app, hone in your strategy before the big bucks start rolling in.
That sounds exciting. Well, thank you, Noah, for your time. It's been a pleasure to speak with you, and we'll see you next time on The Huddle.
All right. Thank you. Have a good one.